know I count up by the twos. Damn, you gon' count it by the twos. Roll with certified niggas, first you gotta get approved. You know, I gotta get approved.
Straight from the Heights, America. You got the legendary OG himself, DJ Tonee Jai.
What's up, man? Hey.
So, what's good with you?
What's going on, man? How's you doing?
Same old, same old.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, can you tell us where you're from?
Straight here out of the Rillo, man. Born and raised right here in Amarillo, Texas, man. Right here, North Heights representative. Born and raised, bro.
So, how was it like growing up in the North Heights community in Amarillo?
Well, growing up in North Heights, it was cool. I mean, it's still cool, really. But back in the day when I was a child, man, I mean, we're talking, I hate to tell my age, but 52 years, man. And but one thing I can say about the Heights is that we had everything pretty much we needed back in the day. We had our own stores, we had our own hair shops, beauty supplies, restaurants, all that stuff right here in North Heights, man. We didn't really even have to leave the Heights, really. We had our own grocery store, Glenn's Groceries. It's basically, like I said, then it was really truly a community. Right now, unfortunately, it's just more of a neighborhood now, But back then, it was truly a community, man. Real.
So, what made you want to become a DJ/musician?
Well, my mom, may she rest in peace, said that I was musically inclined at the age of 2. Yeah, it started when I was playing pots and pans. And so she seen that I was kind of musically inclined back then, so she bought me some drum sets, and I started playing drums at an early age, about 2 to 4 years old. Then she just seen that I was so into the music that she just implied me with a lot of instruments like, pianos, guitars. So when I was about 10 years old, she supplied me with a 2-tier organ type thing that had a little rhythm section on it that I used to play, and I'm like 10 years old, rocking out, playing the organ and stuff and everything. And then when I was 12 years old, she bought me a saxophone. So I started playing saxophone around my 6th grade, and all through from 6th grade to 12th grade through high school, I was pretty good at playing alto saxophone. So I was very good at that. But when I got a dose of the keyboards, a good friend of mine I saw had a synthesizer and back then a little drum machine, back probably around 1983. And his name was Greg Smith, and I was like, wow, I like to get into that. And so that's when I got into the whole production side of the music scene on that end with him. And as for the DJing, that did start around when I was probably about 14, back in 1981. They used to throw shindigs at the North Branch YMCA, and that is, now it's called the Warford Activity Center. But back then, they used to throw parties in the communities. One of my DJ mentors, Marshall Leak Jr., they call him MJ, and MJ Productions, and he would throw parties at the YMCA, at Hilltop, and that was where the community would go in North Heights. So we would go there, and I liked the way they were jamming. And then he had a good friend who we are still super cool today, Merchant Jones. He was the DJ as well, and I was really inspired by them too. And that's what made me want to become a DJ, and they kind of took me under their wings, under their umbrella, and shoot, the rest is history.
So, who are some of your musical influences?
I can give you some, well, it's professionally and locally. So I'll tell you who they are on my professional side. Professionally would be no other than the funk master himself, George Clinton of Parliament Funkadelic. So he's the brainchild, and all his proteges, Bootsy, Bernie Worrell, Maceo Parker, all that came out of the Parliament Funkadelic clan are my influences, along with Prince, along with growing up with the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, Michael Jackson, all the old school legends. Unfortunately, most of my minds that I was really influenced with are no longer here, but yeah, they were cool. The local end of the stick have to be the Destiny Show Band with Perry Hughes. Perry Hughes was a big influence of me. Larry Mitchell, another guy named TJ Thompson. Man, we're talking back in the day, bro. We're talking like late 70s, early 80s, you know, and they influenced me. And then as for the DJ side, professionally, of course, Dr. Dre, DJ Quick, DJ Battle Cat, all those cats on the professional end. On the local tip, it would be straight out of Amarillo. Back in the day, it would be Merchant, would be the late DJ Starchild, of course, my mentor, MJ. Another guy that took me under his wings, and I was about 14 years old when I was under his production company called Starlight Productions. His name was Terry Smith, AKA Blue Jacket Creed. And I got a lot of my experience from being under that umbrella. But he was one of my influences. And then also my white homie, man, no other than Mr. Pat Dufa, DJ Pat Dufa. He was one of my old school influences. So yeah, man, that's right here out of Amarillo, man. Real talk.
So, what other names do you go by as DJ/musician?
Well, as a DJ, Terry Smith, aka Blue Jacket Creed, he's the one that gave me my first name as a DJ, and that was called DJ Boy Wonder. He said I was the Boy Wonder. So I rolled with that name. That was probably back in 1981. Boy Wonder, and I rolled with that. And then finally, when I got into the music side, started doing the production. When I got with Greg Smith, I came up with a demo. It was called Winds of New Wave that I went in and produced when I was 16 years old. And my little sister, Jackie Person, she said, I played a demo for her, and she said, that's nice. She's like, what are you gonna call yourself? Johansen? I said, yeah. Okay, cool. So now I'm Johansen. So I rode with Johansen during the times that I was doing my music, as for playing the music and stuff. So I rode with that for a lot of years. And then later on, I also became known as DJ Old School when I started Real Rock Productions, DJ Old School when I was on FM 90 Body and Soul. I was also known as DJ Sean Anthony, and now, presently, I'm DJ Tonee Jai.
So, what were some of the songs you recorded as Joe Unzun, and where you ever signed to the record label?
Yeah, well, as I was saying earlier, in 1983, I recorded my first demo, and actually, it's a self-produced demo. And according to the history of right here in Amarillo, Texas, FM 90 Body and Soul, they played my first self-produced demo. And when I say self-produced, I mean, you know, pretty much what these cats are doing today. They're going in the studio, they're recording all the tracks by themselves, they're laying down the beats, they're doing all that stuff by themselves, and they make their own demos. Well, I was doing that when I was 16 years old, back in 1983. So I'm the first recorded self-produced artist that FM 90 Body and Soul played right here out of Amarillo, Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. When do you form Joe Unzun and the MI Rights, and what accomplishments did the band bring to Amarillo?
Well, before we formed Johansen and the Amorites, when I was under Johansen, I had the demo that I said earlier that FM 90 played. It was called Wings of New Wave. Then after that, in 1984, I came out with a song called The Rilla Rock, which is what my production company now is named after. And then I got synonymously known really big in Amarillo around 84, late 84, 1985, with a song that I made called Trippin' Out. And that's what really blew me up. So that rolled real heavy in 1995, and so in 86, my slash advisor manager thought it would be cool to go ahead and get a group together, since there was another group that was trying to make a little noise. It was called the Amorites. And so we decided to combine forces and call ourselves Johansen and the Amorites, which the Amorites is no other than Kenneth Bula P. Patterson, his brother Kenny Patterson, and we call him Kenny Ken, Robert Wells in the group as well. But it was really us four, even though our first original lead singer, I would have to say, would be Vernon Anderson. He would have made the fifth element, but we thought it was cool that we just go ahead and boot him out of the group. So we booted him out the group and just rolled with us four. And so that was Bula, Kenny, Robert Wells, and myself. So that's how we rolled with it.
When did you form the Rilla Rock Productions and its purpose?
Rilla Rock Production was formed in 1995. Once again, when I came up in the DJ game, we had a lot of production companies. Like I said, we had Master J Productions, we had Starlight Productions, we had Curtis T, another legend, rest in peace, in the game. He had a production company. So we had all these production companies that offered entertainment to the community. And then when they died out, I didn't see anybody really doing that anymore, you know. So that's why I decided to come up with Rilla Rock Productions, to start being like a mobile DJ and just going into the communities and bring back that old flair that we used to have back in the day. And so that was in 1995, and that was the purpose of bringing all that old school flavor back like we used to jam as I was coming up as a child, you know. So now, with Rilla Rock Productions, that's what we did. But we actually kicked it off in Pampa, Texas, because during that time, that's when my good friend Ben, 2J, they came up with the Shack. And so the Shack was coming up in Amarillo doing their thing, and I didn't want to bump heads with what they were doing. So I felt that there was a market that was wide open, and that was like those little country towns, because they were starving for entertainment. So back in 1995, I chose to do my parties in Pampa, even though we was called Rilla Rock Productions, but we would go to Pampa and do it. But we was making so much noise in Pampa that we had people from Amarillo coming to Pampa in droves, checking out what we was doing. So that's how that became. But then eventually Rilla Rock came to Amarillo, Texas. We did our thing here, and had like we made it like a platform for other artists that if they wanted to come and jam, we would put in like shows, you know, and feature them like they're big stars, like Lil Prince. We put Lil Prince on with Rilla Rock Productions. Lady T, man, there's so many back in the late 90s that we put on, man, and they got some good recognition behind that. So that was my purpose, of just giving people a platform in our community to shine.
So how was your experience being a DJ in FM 90 Body and Soul?
Oh, man. Well, I got on in Body and Soul back in 1996, and that was because of a guy named Jay Scotty at that time. What attracted me to, even though I was already affiliated with Body and Soul through all my mentors, like MJ. MJ used to be on Body and Soul. Terry Smith, aka Blue Jacket Creed. They all used to be DJs on Body and Soul. So when Jay Scotty came on there, I noticed that he was trying to do this thing called 3 o'clock. I think it was the 3 o'clock old school show. I think it was something like that. And he was rocking old school for about an hour. It was all right, but I thought it could be better. Because to me, the old school he was playing was cool, but it was just, I don't want to say too old, but it needed some funk. And me growing up under the Parliament Funkadelic banner, I knew that I could bring forth that flavor, so I asked him if I could be a special guest for that hour spot. So he would allow me to come up there, and that's where I went by DJ Old School. So that's why I got the name DJ Old School, because of that segment on FM 90. So I would go on FM 90, jam out, and the people liked it. And it was like, when you gonna come back? When you gonna come back? So Jay Scotty will allow me to come back pretty much every Saturday and jam out. And then after a while, he decided to let some other people get their shine. And of course, I ain't gonna lie, I was hating. Because I thought, hey, you know, it should be with me. But that's one thing about this business. It can get egotistical, man. So you gotta kind of control your ego, you know. But I'm glad that Jay Scotty gave me that opportunity. And so when he did give me that opportunity, I decided to go ahead and take the class and get on FM 90. And I think I was on FM 90 from 1996 to 2000. And after I left FM 90, then the man named Marcus Styles, he came in while I was leaving, and to this day, and we're talking almost 20 years later, DJ Marcus Styles is still on FM 90, so he's still holding down the fort, you know. So that's what's up.
What's up? How does it feel to be a DJ in this current industry?
Well, being a DJ in this current industry, several ways would have to be based on if you're talking about the music within itself or the money that can be made being in this particular industry. Now, let me say something. Here in Amarillo, I would tell anybody, don't quit your second job. If you got a main 9-to-5 that's paying you good money, I would tell you, if you want to be a DJ in this business, you better probably have another job just to be on the safe side, because I just think that people in this area really don't have a true sense of concept on how much dedication it takes to really be a DJ, and how much time that is invested into knowing the music, getting the music, making sure you get your equipment and all that stuff, and how much money you got to actually spend to get into this business. And you know, we do this because we really love what we do. We enjoy our craft, you know. And so as for speaking today, the only thing I really say is that it's cool, but to really make a decent living for doing this, it's going to be very hard in the Amarillo area, because on the cool, people really don't want to shell out no money. You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm a strong believer that you got to pay your dues first, because that's one thing I've always have done. The reason why I got good the way that I am is because I had to pay my dues. I had to do a lot of free gigs. And, you know, unfortunately, man, people sometimes they'll take that for granted, you know, and they know that you're good, but now when it's time for you to really get paid what you really know that you're worth, then people want to try to put you in the same box with all the other DJs. And I'm a strong believer that if you say that I'm the best at what I do, which I specialize in old school and grown folks music, if you say that I'm the best, then you got to pay me like I'm the best. You can't pay me like all the rest. You know, you can't group me in with all the other DJs when I know for a fact that a lot of those DJs are nowhere on my level. So, but what they'll do is they'll take it and they'll say, well, you know, this DJ here, he'll charge $250. Okay, that's fine. But the deal of it is, are you looking for a DJ, or do you want me to be a DJ for your event? You know, so that's the thing that I always ask people when they come to me about that. And I have to let them know, you know, if you want me as a DJ, we'll sit down, we'll talk. But if you're just really just trying to window shop and trying to say, well, what, you know, as a DJ, what you charge and stuff, more likely I tell them, hey, I'm $125 an hour. You know, why? Because I know my worth. I know what it is. And basically I still say in a way that I'm kind of being cheap right there. But a lot of people, because it's Amarillo, are very closed-minded, and they want to put you in this box. That's why I say it's so hard to make a real true living unless you got a true network. If you got a true network, then you make it happen. But for what I do, yeah, I gotta keep my second job, man. So basically, for me being a DJ in this era, and what I think about being today, this is mainly just, man, it's really, to me, man, you want to get paid well for what you do, you know. And I just don't see people really making a whole lot of money doing what they love to do here.
So with the power of internet streaming, do you think people still need a DJ or the radio?
Well, yes, just because of the fact of just the humanistic element, you know. I call a lot of these DJs human jukeboxes, you know, because a lot of these DJs now, all they do, they don't entertain with the crowd. They don't, you know, they don't really, they just, like I say, human jukeboxes, you know. So they get up there, they DJ, you know, they may mix, they may scratch a little bit, but, you know, I'm from the old school where it was the DJ/MC, you know. Now back, if you had an MC with you, and that's what happened when we started off with Real Rock Productions. It was me as the DJ and my cousin Jock as the MC. So I just focused on the DJ and let him entertain the crowd. But now when you pull the MC out the picture, then that MC role lies on the DJ. And a lot of these new schoolers don't really they don't have the essence to know that, which I don't understand. That's why I wish they would really study their craft and really study the history about hip hop, and especially in the rap game, to know that your element as a DJ is not only to be a good mixer and a scratcher and know the music to play, but you also need to also work on the elements of the MCing, so that way you can keep the crowd, that way you interact with the crowd, keep them interested, and hype them up, because the two really goes hand in hand.
I see you have a Facebook page and a podcast called Room 806.
Right.
Can you tell me how did it originate?
Yeah. Well, what happened is just that here in Amarillo, Texas, we don't have what I call a real true black-oriented radio station. Now, of course, we got 93, and I mean, you know, it's cool, especially for the younger, you know, for that. But I'm talking about people like for my age, what we like. And even FM 90 Body and Soul, they done went to a whole nother generation. They're pretty much sounding like 93 as well. So, but as for us having a real true urbanistic radio station that's going to play real old school, that's going to play real funk, jazz, all the elements, reggae, whatever you name, that's basically representing urbanized music, I just didn't hear it. I'm just, you know, unless you go to maybe your satellite radios and stuff like that. So I decided to create the Room 806 and start playing those type of elements, because there's a lot of music out there that's not being played. You know, and even if you go old school, what irks me is that people wants to play the mainstream shit, man. They want to play the more bounce to the ounce, everything that people done heard over 100 times. There's too much music out there, not just new school, but old school music that's out there that can still be played, that not everybody ever heard of. That's why when you listen to the Room 806, it sounds so fresh, because I don't play what everybody else play. You know, I'm more kind of like your B-side DJ, you know. So you got to really kind of know your music. And if you don't really know your music, you would think everything I'm playing is pretty much new. But that's because I'm so educated on my music, because I've dealt with this music here for almost 40 years. So I really take my music and its craft very, very seriously. So that's why I came up with the Room 806. And the Room 806, as of October 1st of this year, made 1 year that I've been doing this, especially on Facebook, and I've kind of taken a break now, man, because it goes back to what I just said about sometimes you feel like you get tired of your craft being taken for granted, you know, and I hate to always throw up the fact of money, but we got to understand that if you claim that you want to support something, not everything is going to come for free all the time, you know, and it's like here in this Amarillo mentality, and I'm sure it's more outside of Amarillo as well, but you know, everybody always wants something for free all the time. And you know, I told people on the Room 806, and I got even in the description that, look, I have a PayPal. Every now and then, if you don't mind, send a generous donation. You know, since y'all saying that I'm one of the best, if not the best, to do it with the old school and the grown folks music, then understand that, you know, I'm spending my Sunday nights coming on this show to entertain you when I got to get my ass up and go to work in the morning, you know, because on Fridays and Saturdays, either I'm doing gigs or I'm dealing with my family and stuff. So Sundays is kind of like my only free time that I can actually lay back and give you some entertainment. But I don't mind doing it for free, but sometimes, every now and then, just show a little appreciation. And the last time I was on, I asked for like a $5 donation. $5. You know, hey, I've been on for a year, been on this thing faithfully, entertaining you all saying you love me. Show my appreciation, show your appreciation. Give me $5. Do you know, for about the 20, 30 people I had in the room, crickets. Didn't hear a word. Didn't hear a word. So I said, okay. So I'm not saying that I'm done with the Room 806. The Room 806 is still in effect. I just decided to take some time off because, you know, when you dedicate your time to people and then in retrospect you see that people do somewhat appreciate you, but they only appreciate you because you're giving them something for free. So therefore I just feel like, okay, well, you know, when I feel like I'm ready to get back on there, I'll do it on my time. But until I get a demand of people that really says, hey, man, we want you back, and you know, we're willing to do whatever they can to get you on, I may come back on. But right now, I'm just taking this time off for a year to spend time with my family, kick back, rest up. And I'll be back on the Room 806. We'll do it again. But right now, man, I'm still a little hurt from that because, I mean, that's a year. Non-stop, Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. And I can't even get $5. Oh man, yeah, I'm a little hurt behind that. So, but you know, that's, hate to say it, but that's how we do. That's how we do.
So, what are some of the mistakes you think that the new DJs make?
I think we're in this microwave society where people want quick money, and they don't really study their craft like they should. You know, you learn something, but man, it goes deeper than just spending a little time on your craft. You need to spend a whole lot of time on your craft. You need to also study the history of your craft. And I think a lot of the mistakes that these DJs make is that you got to be also not only a DJ, but you got to be a psychologist when you're a DJ. You know, you got to look and observe the people. And I've seen a lot of DJs that don't really care about the people. They just get into their own thing. They play what they want to play. And, you know, I'm from, once again, the old school. When I go out, I'm a party DJ. So my mission is to make sure that floor stay packed. But I see a lot of DJs, they don't care if the floor is packed or not. As long as they're getting paid and they're playing some music, that's all that matters. But no, you got to take your craft very, very seriously. You got to pay attention to your audience, know what they like, keep them enthused, keep them interested. And that's the deal. When I go out, I see a lot of the people, sometimes a lot of the people I see sometimes have to tell the DJ what to play, you know. So that's the thing I see with a lot of these cats, man. They're really not really taking their craft seriously like they should. But you need to spend countless of hours every day practicing on your craft to the point of almost perfection and learning what the people like and learning what they don't like.
So how do you feel about the Amarillo music scene?
Well, I just feel like there's no substance. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I admire anybody for getting out there doing it. I've did it for years. I'm one of the, like I said, I'm one of the OGs that helped started this whole thing. And but I don't know, man. It's like, to me, all those cats sounding alike to me. They sound pretty much the same. They imitate what other people do. And I think you need to really work on your own form of originalities and learn to start making music that can be timeless. I just feel like the Amarillo music scene that I see is just that they're all pretty much on one accord. I don't see too much originality. You know what I'm saying? You got a few, and oh man, a lot of the youngsters that I'm coming up with, because see, I'm kind of like in my own lane, and I'm peeping out some of these youngsters, man, like Prince and Ashton. I think his name Ashton Clayton. I don't know what his rap name is, but you know, they have some type of uniqueness in the thing. But the thing I would advise these youngsters, man, work on some music. Yes, you want to sound relevant, but at the same time, you also want to supply music that has substance, to where if I'm bobbing to your shit right now, I should be able to bob to your shit 20 years from now. You know, that's the difference between my genre of music and the music that I hear now. The music that I hear now, especially in these local artists right now, it's just only for right now, and that's it.
A lot of people say that black people don't support each other, and how you feel about that?
It's a lot of truth to that. It's a lot of truth to that. We suffer from this right here. There it is. Post-traumatic slave syndrome. Dr. Joy DeGroy. I would advise all people to get this book and understand why we have the state of mind that we have. You know, my thing is this, man, and Lord knows I've never ever hated on nobody in my 40 years in doing this thing. I've never had a reason to hate on nobody. But what happens with us is that, you know, we say we want people to come up, but I said this before. There's this cliche that says we're our own worst enemies. And I say we're not our own worst enemies. We're not our own worst enemies. That's wordplay. Yes, I know we do some things that may seem that way, but really what it is, especially, and if you really see it more so in the rap industry, but we're really our own worst competitors. You know, this is where all the beef and all that stuff comes, because they're too busy wanting to be in competition with each other. Either they're trying to outshine one another, or they're trying to do something to deflect one's shine, you see? So my thing is just that, you know, if we're gonna ever come together and be supportive, we have to, first of all, we have to try to unite and elevate each other. That's what we have to do. That's why we're presenting this function at the Black Culture Center on the 23rd called Hidden Colors. And we want the community to come out and watch this movie, man, because this movie is letting us, you know, why we suffer from this type of slave-matic drama that we suffer from. But yeah, man, we can support each other, but we got to elevate each other. We can't be just every time you see somebody shine, the next thing you know, you're trying to do something to bring him down, or you trying to pour salt, and you're trying to do something that's always causing some form of negativity. Instead of generating all that negativity, use that energy and flip it and make it for positivity, you know. But we love to entertain the negative. And this is why we suffer the way that we do. It's because we don't be around, and we, you know, a lot of us came up really on the cool. We came up really not seeing anybody really making it, you know. So when a person finally do make it, you know, kind of goes to the head, you know, the chest gets stuck out, all of that. And then, you know, next thing you know, man, but you got to remember always where you came from. So like I said, it's all about supporting Yeah, but not only are you supposed to just support each other, but you also got to also represent that with your finances as well. You know, and that's one thing we don't do. We don't invest in our own. We don't invest in our own communities. And that's what we have to learn to do, invest. If you see me coming up, like I said about the Room 806, if you like what I do, then invest. That's the only way how you come up. That's how the Mexicans do. This is how the Asians do. That's how they do. They invest in their own. But every little money we get, we take it outside our community. We spend it elsewhere. So until we can learn to get this conscious mindset about trying to unite and come together and learn to support each other to elevate that person, and then it'll be a ball and chain of effect. But I don't know, man. We still like 30 years behind, man. Real talk.
So what made you come out of retirement and be a DJ again?
Because I got tired of the bullshit I was hearing, man. When me and my wife, when we go out, we like to party. You know, like I said, I'm a party DJ. You know, and I'm not trying to pull my own coattail, but it's one of the reasons why I don't just like to go, because I don't think people really jam the way that I jam, you know. It is what it is, man. I'm a party DJ. When I go out, I want to party. I don't want to just sit around, socialize, watch everybody else, and doing that. Of course, I'm talking about people of my peers now. I'm talking about people of my peers. But I came back in because I wanted to bring that element of partiness back to the people. To know that when you hear me, a lot of people know me when they hear me, especially because I'm definitely a funkster. They already know before they even come in the building. 9 out of 10, I heard my friends say, "Man, I was a block away and I was kind of hearing the music, and I was like, yeah, that's Tonee. That's Tonee jamming, you know." And that's the whole thing about it, man. You know, you gotta know those type of vibes. You know, it's a vibration thing, you know. And that's why I had to come back, to bring those vibrations back and make party fun again, you know. Make it fun, make it exciting, make people want to lose their mind, you know. I've had many people tell me, "Tonee, you got to stop. You got to stop. You jamming me too hard. My feet are killing me, man," you know. Bring back that whole party vibe, just like hip-hop. The way it started out as fun and excited. Everything's a party. Now everything is so damn serious. Everybody wants to be a gangster. Everybody want to be a killer and all that stuff, which is nothing but another form of media deception. But that's another thing. That's a whole nother topic. But anyway, but that's why I came back, because I wanted to bring back that party vibe again. That's it.
I see you host an annual summer event called Amarillo Northside Community Park Tour.
Yeah.
Can you care to talk about that?
Yeah, bro. Started back in 2016. Once again, that was a vision that I wanted to incorporate back to the people, because that's something we had lost. When I was coming up, when I was a teenager, we used to have park events. We used to have block parties. We used to have a lot of stuff. And all of a sudden, that stuff just faded out, man. And so I just like, man, what better way? When my 50th birthday came across, I said, what could I do to give back to the community? Well, no, I take that back. I said, when I turned 50, I said, what can I do? Should I just throw myself a party, or should I go somewhere or whatever? And something said, no, give back to the community. Set your stuff up at the park and just let everybody come. And when I done that, it turned out very well. So I decided to make it an annual event, and just definitely, we call it the North Side because we want to elevate our community, the North Side community. So we hit up all the parks: Bones Hooks Park, Hazel Rig Park, Sam Houston Park. Even the North Branch Y, which is Warford, we hit that basketball court, because we always set up on the basketball court because we want to keep everything old school. So, but you know, back in the days of early hip hops, that's how they started it. That's how they did it with Kool Herc, all those DJs, man. They all set up on the blacktops. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. So what I do is just a throwback of the old school days, and that's what. And for now, this made 3 years that we did this, and it's getting bigger every year.
And there's a lot of abandoned houses and boarded up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's anything you could bring light back to the Heights?
Yeah, well, first of all, the only way we're going to be able to bring back lights to the Height is that we got to quit depending on other people to do shit for us that we can do for our own damn selves. That's the mentality we got to get. We got to quit looking for help and be able to create our own. So therefore, when people see that you're doing for yourself, then they don't mind helping you. But if they see that you just sitting in the back and you ain't doing shit and you just basically just like, well, hey, you know, you're going to see a lot more abandoned houses, you know. But the fact of it is that we got to get involved as a community. We got to show concerns. And that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years, along with my godmother, Lala Mitchell, a few others, Amon Turner. All of us, we're coming together to raise awareness of our community, to let them know that, hey, this is your neighborhood, you know. And if you have any concerns, you got to be a voice. You got to speak up, you know. You go down to City Hall, I don't see many black and brown people at City Hall. You know what I'm saying? You see a lot of white folks. So in Amarillo, Texas, where's all these beautiful buildings are at? They're on the south side of town. They're on the west side of town, you know. What's happening to the north side, you know? We got to be our own spokespersons. And right now they are originating a committee. I think it's called the North Heights Development Program Fund or something. They're trying to come up with, you know, some things on that level. I'm going to go to one of their meetings and definitely see what they're talking about. But you just got to be careful, man. You know, we can't let people come on our side of town and start building up some stuff that may end up running our people out, you know. We don't want that to happen, you know. We want it to be built up, but we want it also affordable. You know, we want it to where our people can actually, you know, live comfortably and, you know, just kind of beautify the place, you know. But still, it's up to us as a community to get involved. And if we can get involved, we can get rid of a lot of these abandoned houses and stuff. Or either if we can get these people to actually buy these houses in the community and fix them up, you know. They're cheap, you know. That's all you got to do. So, I don't know, bro. That's what we got to do. We got to get involved.
Yeah. So do you think there's any help for the north side of town?
Say it again. Do
you think there's any help for the north side?
Any help?
Mm-hmm.
Once again, yeah, if we learn to help ourselves. We got to learn to help ourselves, man. I mean, once again, we became too dependent on other people to do something for us. And until we get out of that mind frame, man, we got to learn to try to do for ourselves, man. We got to learn how to do for ourselves.
So how you feel about people in the city beefing with each other?
Once again, it's competition, man. It's all competitive, man. It's all competitive. And it's really over bullshit, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really over bullshit. But with me, I stay in my lane, bro. I don't see a lot of that stuff because, you know, I'm old school, man. I've been there and done that, man. But what I don't like with these youngsters is that, man, these youngsters got to realize something. Man, a lot of these youngsters, even as young as they are, they got children, you know. And when they beefing like that, they only thinking about themselves. They're not thinking that, hey, man, I got children at the house, you know. I got to be a father to my children, you know. I got to be there for my children, you know. But you get with all that beef and stuff, and then next thing you know, here's another statistic. And now here's another fatherless child. And I think that's why a lot of, especially with the men, personally, I just think we just have a lot of angry young kids that got daddy issues, man, because the fact is that either the laws done incarcerated the daddy, so the child done raised up with the mama, so, you know, now the child have to feel like he got to be the daddy, you know, and there's very limited two-parent homes anymore, you know, and I grew up with, you know, a single mom myself, even though I do know my dad, know of my dad, and, you know, but he wasn't around that much, but, you know, we cool. But I had angry issues toward him for a long time, you know. And I just think that, and, you know, and it rubs off because even with me growing up, you know, getting married too young and not really ready to settle down and stuff. You know, I wasn't for my older kids like I should been when they were young, you know, because I was out there doing whatever the hell I wanted to do. And I missed out a lot on their thing. But like I said, God gives you second chances. And now I got young kids, and I'm there for them every bit of the way. So that's why I just, you know, I pretty much stay in my lane. But I tell you, all this beefing and all that stuff, man, once again, we got to start elevating each other. We got to quit downplaying each other, man. Everything is so competitive, man.
So what do you think will bring unity in the city?
Coming together and do what I just said. We got to learn to elevate each other and come on one accord, man. We got to come on one accord. We got to quit looking at color. We got to quit looking at black, white, all this stuff. We, you know, especially if let's just say if it's all about hip hop or, you know, or things like that, man, then let it be about hip hop, you know. Whoever's doing something, as long as it's representing hip hop, come together for the sake of hip hop, you know. But as just people as a whole, as in general, you know, just depends on whatever issues that's being presented, you know. There's a lot of issues that can be presented, man. If we want to bring more awareness to our community, we got to go out and we got to support that, you know. We got to support that. If we're tired of a brother getting shot, instead of worrying about the police shooting, just say another black brother shoot another black brother over some bullshit. You know, we need to protest that. You know, we need to protest it. Why we got to protest it only when the cops do something or whatever? You got to protest it, man. You know, we got to learn to start coming together and try to show some love. But like I said, you know, not everybody's going to be, I mean, nobody's perfect. So, you know, there's always going to be somebody, there's always going to be an ignorant bunch out of the back. But it don't have to be a whole lot of us, you know. If we could just learn to come together and just show love for one another, man. Love is a very powerful word, man. And that's one thing that I hate about the music industry now, is that even with these youngsters, you don't hear the word love in these little young schoolers' music anymore. You know, everything is about B's, F'ing, all the derogatory things and stuff. But how many songs you really hear say somebody "I love you"? You know, that's the whole power of it all, man.
So you got any advice for the DJs?
My advice would be study your craft. Really talk, man. Really. Study your craft. Practice, 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 practice. And learn your history about the artists, producers. Learn it all, man. And also learn the business. There's a lot of books that tells you about the business, especially if you are a old school hustler, new school hustler, rather if it's legal or illegal. But if you are a hustler, then you have some business savvy about you. So therefore, that kind of gives you a little niche right there about the business. So learn the business, practice your craft, and learn how to be a psychologist. Learn to study people, learn their body language, all of that, because all of that goes in effect when you're a DJ.
So you got any upcoming projects or anything?
Musically, DJ-wise, right now, I'm just kind of like a DJ for hire. Probably getting ready to do something here in 2019 with Real Rock Productions. I'll let you know on a later date when that will actually be. It'll probably be an old school shindig. I haven't decided on the date, but it will probably be it's always usually around the time of Fire and Ice that I'm also a part of, the Fire and Ice Soul Connection, the 3rd annual that's coming up. So usually I do something around that time, but right now the only thing that I'm pushing right now is this knowledge, this consciousness about us trying to wake up as a people. And October 23rd and October 30th, we're asking everybody in Amarillo, Texas, it's free of charge. Come out to the Black Historical Culture Center, 901 North Hayden, and check out the Hidden Colors documentary. We've already done part 1. We did part 2. Now we're getting ready to do part 3. this coming Tuesday on the 23rd, and we're going to conclude with Hidden Colors 4 on October 30th. And that's about it, and that'll be at 7 o'clock at the Black Historical Culture Center.
This concludes the interview. Reporting live from North Heights, America, the legendary OG himself, DJ Tonee Jai.
What's up?
Streets approving the mayor.
Appreciate you, baby. One love.
We out.